Hello and welcome to Tune Thoughts, a place where I, Harsh Thakkar, shall analyze Indian songs for you all. In this episode, I'm going to analyze the song Raavan by Amit Trivedi. Raavan is sung by Shilpa Rao and Anand Bhaskar. The lyrics are written by A.M. Turaz. This song is a part of an album called Songs of Trance by Amit Trivedi. As we know, Raavan was a learned scholar and was blessed with the nectar of immortality. He kidnapped Sita and was killed by Ram. This song highlights the conflict in his mind and how he invited his own downfall. The song starts with electronic piano beats that fade in. Gradually, we hear the voice of Shilpa Rao singing, "Ore Raavan, लंका का साजन, जो भी वचन दिया, मर के उसमें जिया। ओरे रावण, विद्या का सावन, वश में ज्ञान किया, जीवन अमृत पिया." Translation: Hey Raavan, you were a good human being from Lanka. You lived up to the promise you made. You were an ocean of knowledge and you mastered every art. You also drank the nectar of immortality. See how the song starts on a positive note. It shows how Raavan was a learned scholar. He was a good man that lived up to his promise. He had so much control that he could do the hardest of penance and impress Lord Shiva. And as a result, Lord Shiva blessed him with the nectar of immortality. Notice how soft, soothing, and calm Shilpa Rao's voice is. There is a certain therav which is very pleasing to hear. As her part comes to an end, the beats in the background are accompanied by another instrument called Raavan Hatta. Raavan Hatta is a type of veena that Raavan mastered. The volume of Raavan Hatta gradually increases and grows. Just then, there is an addition of electronic drum beats. The tempo of these beats increase and the Raavan Hatta also matches the same tempo. This increase in the tempo creates a sense of urgency. It puts the song into a different gear and changes the mood. While this happens, there is a recital of Lord Shiva's name. The chants are in sync with the changing tempo. We hear Shri Mahadev Shambhu as if there's a yagna happening. And Ravana is trying to please Lord Shiva. As the chants continue, there is another voice that comes and sings, "Hriday nashak prem rog pal ke, duniya khangal ke, mastak chada kal ke." Translation: I grew a love that destroyed my heart. I won the world and I became the emperor of my era. Notice how Anand Bhaskar's voice is exactly opposite to that of Shilpa Rao's. This voice is roaring. It is coarse and rough. Arrogance is oozing out of it. The voice makes you feel as if the person cannot hear anything except his own voice. Also pay attention to little echoes that are present in the song while he sings. It is not a voice that you can ignore. It grabs attention and overpowers you with strength. The idea of strength and power is perfectly resonated in the lyrics. Duniya khangal ke means to win over the world. And the world is not limited to materials and kingdoms, but also the minds of people. Ravana wants to rule the mind of people. हानिकारक क्रोध मन में डाल के, स्वर्गों से निकाल के, नरक अपने भाग्य में भरी. Translation: I put such a dangerous rage in me and removed myself from heaven to get a place in hell. This is the perfect description of Raavan's mindset. Raavan was very well aware of his anger. He had predicted his own downfall, but he never backed out. He wanted to fight and keep ruling whatever he had. Compromise was never an option for him. His rage also blinded him to all the warnings that several people gave him. See how the two voices work in perfect synchronization. One voice defines Raavan as a good person, while the other shows his vices and represents his downfall. Consider the two voices as the classic example of devil angel conflict. If you want to stretch it a little bit further, you can see this as the workings of Freud's level of consciousness. It is the conflict between id and superego. Id works on the pleasure principle, while superego works on morals and ethics. The male voice represents the id, while the female one represents superego. A perfect picturization of this conflict is a tug of war. The two sides are pulling the rope and the person is in the middle, getting torn very gradually. प्रलय वादक वरना अपनी बात पे, रख दो पानी आग पे, गर्वित हूँ इस ख्वाब पे. Translation: I'm apocalyptic if things do not go my way. I can put water on fire. I'm extremely proud of my abilities and my power. This is the point where Raavan gets all the power in the world. He can do whatever he wants to. This is the perfect elaboration of how he gets blinded by greed and arrogance. His ability to get things done blinds his conscience to such an extent that eventually it dies off. His words feel like a hammer beating the nail at a very high speed. This pace of word also signifies his impatience to say all he knows and mark his dominance. मैं हूँ पारस सारे रंग गुलाल के, मुझको छू के कमाल के, मेरे वध पे भी थी आंखें ब्रह्मा की भारी. Translation: I am the magic stone that turns everything to gold. Even Lord Brahma was deeply saddened when I was killed. This is the peak of Raavan's arrogance. It symbolizes his death and the end of his thinking power. He considers himself so good that everything around him becomes good automatically. He has forgotten that things must be as they are, or he would change the order of things. And if he does that, he would pay the price. And he pays the price as he eventually gets killed by Ram. However, even as he died, all he could pay attention to was the fact that Brahma was upset with his death. This is the final blow that shows his arrogance, which does not leave him even at his death. This fact is reiterated in Ramayana as several people advise him and offer him a word of peace, but he refuses. And as the narrative by Anand Bhaskar ends, the chants of Shri Mahadev Shambhu begin again. It is as if Raavan is remembering Lord Shiva as he dies. He knows that his life is over, and the only way to make it better is to remember Shiva for the very last time. And that fades out to the soothing voice of Shilpa Rao, who sings, "उरे रावण लंका का साजन, जो भी वचन दिया मर के उसमें जिया. उरे रावण विद्या का सावन, वश में ज्ञान किया, जीवन अमृत पिया. This repetition is the portrayal of how Rama also considers Raavan to be a virtuous person. Ram asks Lakshman to seek all the knowledge from Raavan as he is dying. Lakshman gets the knowledge from a dying Raavan in the following words. Ravanoha काम ये, अखिलम निखिलम काम ये कीर्तिम, काम ये प्रसिद्धम, काम ये सामर्थ्यम, काम ये प्राबल्यम, काम ये ऐश्वर्यम, काम ये वैपुल्यम, काम ये विजितिम, निशेषम विजितिम, काम में मान, सप्रिक कलेश, अखिलम निखिलम काम्ये. रावणः काम्ये, अखिलम निखिलम काम्ये. Translation: I am Raavan and I desire. I desire the entire world. I desire respect and fame. I desire ability, capability, and wealth. I desire immense growth and victory, endless victory. Desire is making my heart tired. These are the last words that Raavan said to Ram and Lakshman. He told his own story. A story where he had got all he wanted. A story where he ran so much after victory and the material world that his heart got tired of it. He did win the world, but at what cost? He had to give up his own life for it. Note how the words also shows a gradual rise in his victories. He first got fame and popularity as a scholar, then he got the ability to please Shiva and work hard to please him. As he pleased him, he got wealth and growth. He defeated Kuber and overtook his kingdom. And he wanted victories. Victory in pretty much everything. His heart got tired of these meaningless victories. His heart realized the worthlessness of this running after material success. He won the world, but he lost his heart and soul. As the narration ends, the song ends with the same repetition of the male part that starts from Hriday Nashak and ends with Aakhe Brahma ki thi bhari. This repetition serves multiple purposes. The first one being how the world remembers Raavan. Ravana was an excellent learned scholar and a person who had knowledge of everything in the world, ranging from astrology to warfare. He had the best of teachers. He was the best priest, and even Rama asked them to perform the last rites for the Shraddha of Dashrath. However, the world only remembers Raavan as an example of evil. He becomes the epitome of evil and a person who had it all and lost it to arrogance. It is his end and deeds that define a person. As Raavan got his skills and wealth, his deed became devilish. The second purpose is to define the song as a song of trance. Trance is a genre that has the ability to transport you to another world. It is like a meditation. Trance is defined by repetition and beats that have a psychedelic effect. The cyclic process of the two voices repeating the same lines create the effect of trance. Finally, the repetition also serves as the conclusion of the devil-angel conflict. Ravana's devil-angel conflict is shown by repetition. Tug of war can only happen if there is an equal pull from both the sides. The repeated stanzas show the fight. The ending voice is that of the male voice, which talked about the vices and the evil deeds of Raavan. Raavan ended his life in a mental state of arrogance and greed. He was pulled into a trap of downfall by the devil. The last stanza is our takeaway. It is an example of what may happen if we let our senses be overpowered by vices like greed or arrogance. Thus, Raavan becomes a song that tells us the story of a scholar who dug his own grave. It is a story that uses the medium of trance to narrate such a beautiful story. The beats, the voices, and the lyrics blended with the perfect singing makes this a masterpiece song. It is one of the rare songs where an epic character is painted through modern art in such a supremely fantastic way. No doubt, it is the versatility of Amit Trivedi and his team that pulls off this Herculean task with so much ease. That was Raavan from Song of Trance by Amit Trivedi. I hope you liked this podcast. I would love to know your views on it. You can reach me at tunethoughts25@gmail.com. We meet next Friday with an analysis of What's Your Temperature by Memba. Until next time, take care. Da 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 da.